Up just a little one. This Cyser, you see that, is refusing to clear. It's just not dropping out. And it's been there for about 4.5 months old. And it's just not dropping any more out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some Bentonite, which is a type of fining. Bentonite you find in wine kits, and sometimes they ask you to throw it in at the beginning of the fermentation. And I did one Cyser, which was the Holy Moly Cyser, and it really did help it clear it in the by adding it at the beginning. And I've never done that before. I usually always add it at the end if I can't clear a mead or a Cyser. Apples, anything with apples is really cloudy. It's just the nature of the fruit. So I'm going to mix that with some boiling water and whisk it up, and you sprinkle it on slowly, so a little bit at a time. For 1 gallon batch you probably need about a teaspoon, if that, half a teaspoon to clear it. So I'm going to put half a teaspoon in, probably a bit overdosing it, but I'm going to try that. 50 millilitres of hot water straight out of the kettle. This is a 1/4 teaspoon measure. I'll just hold this up. I don't know if it'll focus, but that is bentonite. It's a grey clay. It's a mineral clay. It's quite coarse there. So what you do is you put in, sprinkle a bit slowly, and you whisk it. Keep stirring. The reason you do that is because you don't want it to clump together at the bottom. You want it to dissolve, otherwise it'll clump together, and it'll be, because it's clay, it'll be end up like a lump of plastic. If you do get that, toss it away and start again. It's cheap enough. Just a 1/4, a bit more. Okay, that's the bentonite mix. Needs a little bit more water. It's a bit thick. Touch more water. You have to whisk it really hard. You're trying to break down and dissolve all the particles, otherwise you get what, if it starts clumping together like that, as you can see, it's getting clumpy on the whisk there. Just add a touch more water and keep working it. So it's going to add a bit more. So you end up about 1/4 pint, whisk it that way. With the bentonite, I don't know if you'll pick it up on camera. I'm going to hold it. There's not enough sunlight on it. You can already see clumps forming. Now, all you did is pour it. I gently poured it in and swirled it around gently to get it all mixed up, and you can actually see clumps starting to form and starting to precipitate. So that's now. I'll come back. Right, that's been stood literally 5 minutes, and you can see how much through the sunlight. I'll tilt that around a bit. It's already starting to clear. It's clumped together with all the bentonite's clumped together with all everything it needs to get to, and it's starting to really get thick at the bottom. There's sunlight going through, so you can see instantly it's starting to clear. It does leave quite a high ridge with bentonite, and I've found that if you leave it for a week, it does compact, and then you just rack it off gently. If you grab a touch of it, it doesn't really matter, it's going to drop out now. So I'll rack it weekly. Because this is old enough now, should be bottling. But instantly you can see that is already starting to clear. Like, it's now coming up to 4:15, so this has been going 3 hours 45 minutes, and this is the same one I've Bentonite, and you can see, I can put my finger, that's about an inch and a quarter of sediment already from the Cyser. If I zoom in, try to zoom in a bit so you can pick up. There's still particles floating. You can actually see them in the light if you hold the light up. I'm trying to get it. But that's bentonite. After an hour, I did a gentle swirl. You just give the bottom, rotate the bottom to get it all mixed up again. And that's because it will track even more down. You can see how quickly that's cleared. That's like 3 hours. And that's the sediment. I've been waiting for it to clear. You've got to take it easy with bentonite. I might have overdone it a little bit because it does strip the colour, it can strip aromas out. Bentonite is negative charge, other findings will tend to be positively charged. So a mixture of both. But I put Richie's wine and beer findings in to start with. I'll try to remember the name of it. It's a liquid one. You warm it up, stand it in the bottle in hot water, or warm water, shake it up, add in the dosage, and it didn't do nothing to this. So I had to resort to the bentonite. Okay, it's 24 hours since I added the bentonite, and I've swirled it around probably about 4 or 5 times to help degas it and to move the bentonite around, because as it expands the surface area of each particle of the clay, obviously there's more, and it pulls in and attracts more of the particles that you want out, the sediments that are floating around. And by degassing you help it all settle down as well. And if I zoom in at the top, you can see that it's still degassing a bit. I haven't touched this, but bubbles are rising off the sediment bed, and it's not fermenting. This is 4.5, 5 months old, so fermentation has completely ceased, and it's just degassing itself, because as the particles get bigger and take on more of the suspension, the gas that's holding it up in there collects as well, and the particle gets so heavy the bubble comes up and it's released. So yeah, it's helped degassing. With bentonite, it helps if you degas first, but if you just swirl it around once an hour for 4 or 5 hours, you'll turn around and degas your mead or your wine, Cyser, whatever. You'll degas it naturally. This is just a stubborn one. This brew, this batch, it just didn't want to clear. And now the sun's come out. You can see how it's looking really good. There still is some particles in suspension. I don't know if it'll zoom in and focus, but we'll try. Maybe the sunlight's too much for it, for the camera to pick up, but yeah, there is particles there. Let's try and focus it. There you go. You can still see some particles there floating around. But I'm really happy with that. I'll give that a week and it will be crystal clear, I reckon. And like I said, I'll rack it, and anything I do grab is just going to sink straight to the bottom. Leave it a couple of weeks, filter it, and then bottle it. So that's how we use bentonite.